What's up, everyone? This is Brian at The Inevitable You. I have a very special guest with me here today, Christina Campos. She's the founder of The Impactful Parent. I really wanted to bring Christina on because previously discussed, with COVID-19 and even really in the past few years, the spike in mental health challenges and really suicide rates, depression, anxiety. It's really devastating, and I wanted to get her take on, especially for the parents out there. And first of all, why are so many of our children right now, do you think, are trying to hurt themselves nowadays and really having some pretty significant mental health challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I really feel like it comes down to three things. The first one is I feel that our teenagers and our young people today, just in general, are under a lot more pressure than they've ever been before. It feels like the competitiveness is just getting out of control. You know, I have to be a great student so that I have to go to a great college. I have to be the athlete, the amazing athlete, and succeed, or the violinist, or whatever that the family values. The pressures are just going up. I also feel like there is a lack of listening, attention, and connection happening in our homes nowadays. So what I mean by that is that we're all so really busy that as parents, we're not really listening. And I mean truly, authentically listening and paying attention to our kids like we used to, perhaps maybe in the past. We're just all so busy, and there's so many distractions in the world. We got all these things going on that, unfortunately, the connection that we build with our kids is falling apart. And now I feel like parents just have to really make a conscious effort to recreate the connection and rebuild some of that listening and attention that our kids really need in order to thrive. And then lastly, the circumstances of today. COVID was very, very difficult. With that, there was a lot of consequences. And my heart goes out to, for example, graduating seniors. It may not seem like a big deal to us, like, oh, okay, so they never got a graduation. It's not a big deal. You know, they're going to go on to college and they're all going to be happy. Okay, so as adults, we can see the bigger picture of what that looks like. But our kids do not have the life experience to see the bigger picture the same way that we can. And so having those specific rites of passage like prom, graduation, saying goodbye, these are all things that our children have idolized and put up in their mind for years. For years, they've been dreaming of these moments, and we have stripped them away, which leaves our children with a lot less structure. And with no structure and no feeling of completion and that closure, it leaves anybody, but especially children who thrive on structure and consistency and predictability, in a place of high anxiety, depression, because they're not getting what they wanted. The vision that they had is gone. And so again, as adults, it's like, oh, you're going to be fine. But those are things that are hugely important to our teenagers, and we have just taken them away. And there's still, even for the fall, am I going to online college? Am I not going to online college? Am I going to be staying at home? Am I not going to be able to find a job where I can move out of the house? There's so much uncertainty here with our teenagers. It's no wonder that they are highly, highly anxious.
Yeah, 100% agree. It almost seems like it's been a perfect storm, just especially recently with like you said, the current events, them missing out on important things like prom, the uncertainty, and I think one of the really big things you touched on was the disconnection, that from the emergence of social media. We're communicating in 140 or whatever it is, 280 characters on Twitter now. They're not only losing or missing out on that really important human connection, interpersonal connection, because of social media now. But also, yeah, I think it is really important for our parents out there to really pay attention and make sure that they're connecting. And so with that, from your experience, what are some of the warning signs? What should parents be on the lookout for in identifying, maybe suicidal thoughts or mental health challenges that their child is experiencing?
Thank you for asking this, because this is so important. I feel like as parents, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us want to just say, they're going to be fine. Or my kid's going to be fine, because it's too scary to go there, to think that they may not be fine. So I'm going to encourage parents to really look at their child with eyes wide open, because suicide typically does not come out of nowhere. If your child's thinking of suicide, they may be feeling they're helpless. They're going to be feeling trapped. They're going to feel like there's this unbearable pain inside them, and that they really probably truly believe that nobody cares. You need to ask your child directly, are you thinking of suicide? And this is really important, because by asking that question, you are communicating a lot of different things. You're saying, I care. You're saying, I need to know. But one thing you're not doing is you're not implanting that idea inside of their brain. A lot of parents will shy away from saying the word suicide because it's terrifying to them. It's mind-blowingly scary. So they'll avoid the word. Really, you're not implanting anything. You are finding out information. So rarely do suicide attempts come out of nowhere. There's usually warning signs. Those signs could be that they are talking about suicidal threats. They're talking about not wanting to be alive anymore. It may not be to you. It could be to their peer group, but it's a conversation that they're having out loud, not just in their brain. There could be a preoccupation or obsession with death and wanting to plan for it or even find out more about it. Depression obviously is a sign. Use of drugs and alcohol could be a sign. Withdrawing from activities that kids were once really interested in, and all of a sudden they're just like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. Sleeping too much, sleeping too little, giving away their possessions, especially things that they really like. If they start giving them away to their siblings or friends, I would really look into that. High aggression can also be a sign, because as they are frustrated, some people deal with that in anger. Fatigue, again, we talked about anxiety, grades worsening in school, difficulty concentrating, and just a general idea of, I just don't care anymore. If you see your child doing something like that, it's just to really pay attention.
Addressing I think the fear that can come with this, or, wanting to ask them directly is also, and if you want your child to open up, maybe open up to them, share how you're feeling. And again, establishing that interpersonal relationship and connection, so that they have someone that they can really trust, that trust you to go to with whatever thoughts they're having, however they're feeling.
Absolutely, right. Because if you're not vulnerable, how do you expect your child to be vulnerable?
Absolutely. What other things can parents do to help besides, antidepressant drugs, or, even seeing a counselor or coach? What can the parents do specifically to help their children?
Yeah, well, obviously those two things are super important. You want to go to a mental health care professional. They're amazing. Equine therapy is something to look into. But if you don't want to if you're looking for more than that, more than, hey, giving them a counselor and putting them on antidepressants, don't forget to have those conversations with your kids. Ask them point blank about if they're suicidal. You want to make it more difficult for them to carry out the action of suicide. So you're going to want to buy a lockbox. And inside that lockbox, you can put all your knives, all your sharp objects, all your medicines. Just make it more difficult. If it's readily available, that's going to make it much more appealing. You're going to make sure that your child has emergency hotline numbers in their phone in case they don't want to talk to anybody else. So for example, I have my teenagers, because I have 2 teenagers right now. I have 4 kids in total, but 2 are teenagers. And I made sure that they have the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline phone number in their phone, just programmed in. So if it ever comes to that point and they feel so lonely, it's there. There's no Google search or you're just making it easy. You're making it easy for your kids to get help. And by the way, that phone number is 1-800-273-8255. You're going to want to talk also to their friends. And I know that this is a little bit of a slippery slope because I do not encourage you to talk to a minor without the parents' permission. But if you talk to the parents and ask to have permission to talk to their child, this could be a huge insight to you, because the friends are much more likely to have an insider's idea of what's going on in your child's life more than you do, right? We confide in our friends. So if you're able to encourage their friends to help your child, look for the warning signs too. Say, hey, look, I'm really worried about my kid, and I know you're the best friend. Can you tell me if you see any red flags? Because I don't want anything to happen. I care. And you're just telling the friend that. Just say, hey, I'm concerned about this. Tell me if you see anything that's out of the ordinary that you get worried about too. I would, if you're in a dire situation and you really are afraid that your child's going to hurt themselves, you can take them to any emergency room hospital in the United States. That emergency room professional is going to conduct an evaluation for your child to assess what the risk really looks like. And after the assessment, they can refer you to clinics, psychologists, or even be admitted in a 24/7 watch care kind of counseling service if it comes to that, whatever you need to do to keep your child safe. And then lastly, I would say don't forget to talk to the school or any other important adults in your child's life, whether it's a coach or a teacher or somebody of that sort, to see, hey, have you seen these behaviors? Is this only happening at home, or are you seeing this outside of the home too? Because these are my concerns. And then you're not only getting a different perspective from another adult that's not you from outside of the home, but you're also telling these other trusted adults who care about your child that you're concerned, so now they can look for red flags too. The more people you can have on your side looking to help your kid and able to help you to help them, I mean, that's a win-win. So just don't forget to talk to everybody that you can.
Wonderful. Yeah, I really love that last one. And I think it's really important to know that you're not alone out there, and there's people to help, people that you can surround your child with that can keep a lookout for them with you. And so also with that, there's us. So, me, Inevitable You, we certainly help. We've dealt with, really severe mental health challenges. I personally have a few clients right now that are in that tween age. And Christina specializes in this too, both especially for the parents, but she's a great resource to reach out to. So highly, highly recommend it. And so how can they reach you, Christina?
Sure. Well, you can go to the website, theimpactfulparent.com. You got to write the. But theimpactfulparent.com. And then just follow on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on everything, and it's at The Impactful Parent, and new content every day.